Today we are with Mike Botta, the president and founder of Sesame. Very excited to have him as our guest. His platform is a very innovative marketplace for healthcare providers to put up their shingle online, cash-based practices, telehealth-based, and Sesame helps drive in the clientele. And as the provider, you get to have your own self-sustaining successful medical practice online, up and running very quickly. So a lot of our clients from Collaborating Docs use Sesame and are huge raving fans of being on their platform. So today we're going to ask Mike some questions about this great platform that he has developed. I guess to start, Mike, do you mind telling us a little about the business as a whole, like how you got started and what service you provide, how you help people?
Sure. And Annie, great to catch up with you. It's always good to chat. I've mentioned this to you, many times, but I know many of the clinicians we work with love working with you and your team because it helps them make sure they've got appropriate collaboration that meets their licensure and what's required for them. So the idea of Sesame is pretty simple. It's to build a two-sided healthcare services marketplace. Two-sided meaning patients come here to look for clinicians that are right for them, and clinicians come here to list their practice, list themselves, and use the infrastructure we provide to build their own practices. And the idea originally was, after the Affordable Care Act, there were so many more patients with high deductibles who were being told, hey, you have to shop around to get good prices for care because ultimately it's your money. You've got a high deductible. You have this incentive to find an affordable, high value, high quality clinician. But there's no good way to do that. If you focus on your insurance network, you don't really know what things are going to cost. It's hard to call lots of different practices and find out both who has availability and what the prices are. So we built Sesame to solve that problem, to give patients a place where they could find availability and pricing for clinicians in a wide range of specialties. Now we have something like 40 different specialties on the Sesame platform. For clinicians, the idea was similar, which was if you were in private practice, more and more of your patients have high deductibles. And if you're billing their insurance, you think you're going to get paid, but you could often get saddled with bad debt if somebody doesn't meet their deductible, if they don't end up paying the bill. And so you were taking these insurance negotiated rates, but you didn't know if you were actually going to get paid very often at the end of the day. And more patients were getting pushed into narrow network, so you might not even be in network with them anymore. So what do you do to maintain and to grow a patient panel? And the idea was build Sesame as a platform that can give you the infrastructure you need. So we can give you like a telehealth platform, a scheduling platform, an in-person navigation platform, a marketing engine, supplemental malpractice insurance, sort of you name it, things that you can use to practice as an independent clinician, but also a way for patients to find you. And so that's really what Sesame is. We're this health services marketplace. We serve patients who are in high deductible plans. We've got plenty of folks who are fully insured, but use this from a convenience perspective, folks who might be between insurances, who are looking for a clinician that both has some availability within their time frame and can give them some indication of pricing and what it's going to cost them to see a doctor, to see an NP, see a mid-level, you name it. That's what we are. That's who we serve.
Love it. Absolutely love it. As a lot of you know, I'm always promoting cash-based practices. There's such a hole in this market, right? Easy accessibility. It's worth its weight in gold if you can get on with a provider easily, quickly. It's genius, really. And for all of our entrepreneurial nurse practitioners out there, I can't recommend Sesame enough. We get questions all day, every day. Like, I want to do this business model, have a telehealth practice, but how will I get patients? This is an avenue, right, that is going to help serve up incoming leads for you, which what could be better, right? So this is, it is really, truly, such a brilliant idea. I guess, could you speak a little more, Mike, about maybe examples of some clients, especially if you know any nurse practitioners specifically that are really benefiting from being on your platform, how that's going for them?
Sure. I mean, there are lots. There are, something like 3,000 active clinicians across the 50 states who use Sesame for a meaningful portion of their panel to attract and retain those patients. Some of them are MDs and DOs. Many of them are NPs and PAs. And we've also got partners like, freestanding imaging facilities in various parts of the country, ambulatory surgical centers, you name it. When a patient comes in the front door to Sesame, they are comparing clinicians who are licensed in their area, and they're comparing them on the basis of cost, quality, availability. When you see somebody for the first time on Sesame, you can then retain them. They can see you for one-off visits using Sesame. They can opt into various forms of subscription or membership. And what we're doing, coming up in the next month or so is giving clinicians the option to offer a monthly recurring membership to their practice. So set a rate for monthly billing, and then that patient can do video visits with you. They can do secure asynchronous messaging. But everything starts with a live video visit here. This is not a just do asynchronous visits with patients. Like every patient that you get, you're going to meet them face-to-face on a video visit at minimum. And if you have an in-person facility, then you can bring them in for in-person care as well. But I think when I think about a lot of cash-based medicine on the internet, there's a lot of asynchronous care. Like you never see a patient, you just sort of review a survey, review like an intake. And I think what we try to do that's a little different is give you an actual connection to a patient who's choosing you and who's choosing to stay with you over time.
That's brilliant, especially with, direct primary care and different concierge sort of practice. This is probably concierge light, like, the price point is low, but the access is amazing. So that's a genius addition to have as an option for clientele. That's really great.
Yeah. And I think you can think through as an individual clinician, like what is the price point that's relevant for you and the service that you're offering? For some people, they're doing pediatrics. They might be doing off hours care. They might be doing sort of general medicine. And there are different price points depending on who you are, what you need, what you're offering. I've seen people build practices on the basis of things like long COVID care, like specifically working with patients who are still suffering the after effects of a bad COVID infection and being a resource for them, connecting them to the latest information around what might be helpful for their condition. And that's not a low-cost service. That might be a premium service, but you are deciding as the individual clinician what it is that you offer and who your target patient population really is.
That's fabulous. We always encourage people to find their super special niche in medicine and push it out, just because then marketing and other things do come easier often. And that's great to hear that even on your platform, people can be very specific in if they want to be. I'm sure you also have basic primary and urgent care type providers, but
exactly
all comers. You welcome all comers, it sounds.
Yep. And I think at the scale that we are at, we can support either or both of those models. If you come in to do general medicine, amazing. If you come in to focus on a targeted specialty, great. There are enough people coming to Sesame at this point who are looking for something in particular that we can help them find what they need.
Amazing. That is so great. Well, we're very proud to have, you were actually one of our very first partners ever when we started back in 2020. So we love promoting Sesame. It's really ideal for our nurse practitioners who are entrepreneurs and trying to figure things out on their own. You take a big part of the guesswork and complications and roadblocks out of the equation. So I highly recommend it to any NPs watching this to definitely talk to Sesame about, how their platform probably is a really good fit for almost anybody out there doing telemed. And I guess even telemed and brick and mortar, as long as there's like an element of telemed.
Right. And we do both. It was interesting. I remember when we first started working together, as the pandemic was ramping up, you had more and more clinicians saying, like, I need to change something about my practice model. This has been it's a frustrating, scary experience practicing full-time at a facility right now. Like, what can I do to, I don't have to be exclusively cash pay. Maybe I still practice, some number of days a week at a facility, but how can I diversify a bit more, like my patient relationships, my income streams, my payer mix? I think we were able to help people do that, meet them where they are. Most people on Sesame are not full-time on Sesame. It's not the only thing that they do. It's a way that they diversify their income and their care mix and their patient panel. So that can be hard if you're just getting started in virtual care because regulations vary by state, licensure vary. Obligations on reporting, obligations on supervision, all those things vary quite a bit. So being able to work with a partner like you, tremendously helpful for folks.
Well, this has been a very enlightening conversation. Exciting to hear about, some exciting new options, packages, subscription package offerings you guys are coming up with soon to launch. I guess in closing, any other thing you'd like to add or share about Sesame for especially like a prospective nurse practitioner looking to start a practice?
Well, let's see, a couple things that come to mind. We try to be a really, clinician friendly environment where we're giving you the tools you need to get started. We don't take on any controlled substance based businesses or practice models. It's not something that we do here. I think about the last several years, people prescribing ADHD medications over the internet, sleep meds, all these things that I think, led to a lot of bad outcomes for people. So that's not what we do. And I think that if that's a focus, I would go somewhere else. But if that's not how you want to practice, I think anything else, we are eager to work with you to practice in an evidence-based, viable way. This is a great place to do it.
It absolutely is. Yeah. So is it best clinicians can, I know, easily sign up. I've been to your website thousands of times. So best they go to your site and then sort of find their information if they want to learn more.
That's right. There's an intake process on the site. Our team will then reach out to you once you filled it out. We'll do credentialing. There's training for everything you might imagine. We'll validate your malpractice insurance. We provide sort of an extra layer of malpractice insurance on top of that. But we can get you set up. It's a pretty quick process. Like certainly, it's weeks, not months to get you using this platform. And then you'll get input from our medical director, from our team. But ultimately you are running your own practice and you are, practicing in accordance with your license, seeing patients and making clinical decisions.
That's awesome that it's so quick. We get this time of year, we get a lot of people's New Year's resolutions starting a practice in the new year. So it sounds like there's still time on the Sesame platform.
For sure.
4 weeks left. So it can be done.
Definitely still time. Our team is ready to go. So we'll be eager to do it.
Terrific. Well, thanks, Mike. Always great catching up with you. And thanks for all you're doing to help so many providers out there improve access to care. And it's such a big need.
And Annie, thank you too. It's great to work with you guys.
Thanks. Bye.